Hey everyone! In this video I'm going to show you how to reamp your guitars in Logic Pro using the Neural DSP Quad Cortex. If you recorded a dry guitar signal and want to dial in the perfect tone later, this is exactly what you need. Let's jump right in. Before we start, this is the way I do it, or the way how I learned it. There are probably a million other ways to achieve the same goal, so if you know a better approach, please let me know in the comments. So before we even open Logic Pro, we need to make sure that our Quad Cortex is set up correctly for reamping. I always use Cortex Control for that, but you can also tweak your settings directly on the Quad Cortex if you like. Now you can move to the patch that you want to use in your recording. Make sure that this patch has USB input 5 and 6 enabled. This is important because these inputs will be used by Logic later for the reamping process. Also make sure that your patch has output 7 and 8 configured. This is also very important because these outputs will be used for sending the process signal back to your DAW. Without these adjustments, signals cannot be sent back and forth between Logic and the QC, so make sure you correctly configured them. Now let's move into Logic Pro and set up the tracks for reamping. Before we create the first audio track, please make sure that the Quad Cortex is your selected audio device in the Logic Pro settings. Let's create the first audio track. This will be your send track. It will contain your dry guitar recording that we're going to send to the QC. Select your created audio track and check the Inspector tab. There you can set the input to whatever input you will record your guitar into. I would recommend setting it to input 1, because this way your guitar signal bypasses your patch and goes directly into the audio track. Change the output from stereo out, which is the default, to input 5. This routes your dry guitar signal directly to the Quad Cortex USB inputs 5 and 6. So, what did we do until here? We tweaked the Quad Cortex to receive signals on USB 5 and 6 and return a process signal on output 7 and 8. Then we created this audio track in Logic that gets your dry guitar signal and sends that to the input 5 of the Quad Cortex. And now we need to create what I call the return track. Create an audio track just like the one before. This track will receive the processed audio coming back from the Quad Cortex. You can rename your tracks to get a better understanding of what they do. For example, the first track you could call Dry Guitar Send and the second track Quad Cortex Return. For the input, select input 7 and 8. Now you can arm both tracks for recording. To do that, click that red recording symbol on both of the tracks. Now you can start the recording. Now here's what's happening there. Your dry guitar signal is picked up by your audio interface and recorded into the first audio track that we created. The output of the track is directly fueled into the Quad Cortex via the USB inputs. The Quad Cortex has your patch loaded, therefore it does the signal processing. The processed signal is then returned on output 7 and 8. And those ports are used as an input for the second audio track, which is also armed for recording, and therefore it receives the processed signal by the Quad Cortex. One final tip. In order to hear your processed signal while you are recording, enable the software monitoring option. To boost the monitoring performance, make sure that the low latency monitoring mode is also enabled. And that's it. Reamping in Logic Pro with the Quad Cortex is that simple. You get all the flexibility of a studio amp setup, but in your own digital audio workstation. If this helped you out, please like and subscribe for more Logic Pro and Quad Cortex tips. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about reamping, and I'll see you in the next one.